outside of our kind. I get the order, then it's handled kind, not the one kind. Without a doubt in my mind, I'm finna stop and recline. Anybody that come against us, they should probably resign. It's a war going on outside, no man is safe from. I hate these niggas throwing shots, but can they take some? Christ says sell out your garments to get a sword now. I'ma go and sell off these polos to get a 4 pound. Damn sure you started the war, but I'ma end it, cause the spiritual war could turn carnal any minute. I remember riding back in the days, window was tinted, but Salaki, I'm done with that carnal shit, I repented. And they bomb-proof the booth every time I'm about to go in it. You ain't know this shit, I live for this truth and I'ma defend it. And I get my second wind just as soon these niggas get winded. It's a war going on outside, I'm jumping in it. It's a war going on outside, you in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside, so in the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, you better be all outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside.
Nobody's safe, it's a war out here. If you pussy in the streets, you a whore out here. See me all suited up in my fallout gear. 762, flip your fucking car out here. No burner, I still break your jaw out here. No fear, if you scared, get a motherfucking pit. Or sit up in the church, you a motherfucking bitch. I give you in the verse what I give you in a clip. It's 32 rounds of fire, it never quit. A lot of fuckery going down, so what's the purpose? Sick of hanging around these clowns, get out the circus. If you cross that line, then you get lit up. The worst is all black hearses, tinted with black curtains. Docs on site with medics and mad nurses. Leave us out your verses. You don't want that kind of war, ready for that bullshit. Kinda like a matador. Get this kind of focus, you gon' need some Adderall. Something just to lock you in behind them padded walls. They say I got some screws loose, and that's true. Don't let me let them wolves through like it's a full moon. It's like I transform the booth to a war room. Come up with a strategy, maximizing your casualties. Courage of King David, battling like the Maccabees. Find out who you think that nigga walks to him casually. Then proceed to bar his life away rapidly. Take a knee for your majesty, take it, they hate it savagely. I try leaving rap alone, but I guess that this had to be. Keep you grounded like gravity, in the ville, but it's amity. Horror, I see calamity, scar you up for my family. Mumble rappers be mad at me, fuck them up in they faculty. They words sweet, sit in they mouth and causing cavities. Yeah, it's a war, none of you suckers worry.
It's a war going on outside, you in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside, so in the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, you better be all outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside, I get it on outside.
Warrior with the hands, that's what I'm all about. Hunger in my eyes, vengeance in my mouth. They don't want no altercation. Situation gon' get critical. It's best that you be easy. The end gon' be biblical. Look, flow like a river. It's something like a miracle. Royalty in my veins, loyalty in my ways. Payback in every breath, plus revenge in my heart. The truth in every word. Bring light into the dark. And I ain't never lukewarm. Shit, I blazing in the season. Got plenty food for thought. Just gotta watch who I'm feeding. Now they walking with them angels. So I guess I got this pistol for no reason. Niggas barely breathing, criticizing all my achievements. Won't make me weak. Nah, it won't make me slack off. These niggas baby fat soft. Better bear witness or back off. I be ripping shit like sackcloth. Dumb dogs all barked out. My hymen say I cup full. No room for emotion. So I pour my heart out. This road hard, but I intend to stay. And if it ain't UPK, then they in the way. My niggas righteous, they real, they down to something. Flow so deep, they drown a motherfucker. He say he in the truth, oh yeah? Well, this the home. And I don't hate them brothers, I'm just too loyal to my own. Plus what they believe, hard for me to follow. No rank me, no head, and I ain't leaving this body to live and sleep in hollow. So when they ask I'm UPK, you tell them absolutely. And I ain't trimming my ways for nothing, gotta execute me. Cause I can never die with my tail tucked between my legs. Shit I be thinking, watching my daughters tucked in their bed. They so smart, and Alana, she so beautiful. But they ain't like other babies, and they daddy far from usual. Now I'm missing cause I'm about my father's business. It ain't about this shit I used to do in that 98 Navy, the tan leather seats. See, without wisdom, this world make you weak. I found out that the truth was bitter, the lies are sweet. Tried everything, I guess me and Johanna had to meet. Now I make the blind see, and I make the dead speak. And teach both my little girls the day that they lie with a man, they better bring me bloody bed sheets. Chaos match the time, this Glock match my handpiece. And I ain't trying to take him out, but I will defend this house. Or take a check, 144 in that black trench on some hitman shit. Should call me 47. Praying for Armageddon, me and my soldiers dressed for the wedding. Fuck the fame, ask why, tell them I'm loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign, loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king, the devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. Bring that hot flame, new bitch, ain't loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign, loyal to the king. I walk that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king, the devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. Bring that hot flame, new bitch, ain't loyal to the king.
Because I'm willing to fight against drug dealers if they Muslim, if they Christian, if they atheist, if they Buddhist, if they killing black men. Guess what? I'm gonna say something about it. Because you know why? Just like you ain't gonna, like your boy said, it ain't gonna happen. Guess what? I'm not letting nobody sell you drugs without me saying that. I'm not gonna do it.
Trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues for this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good record. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how did you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword, with a style that they might just record. The only thing equal is the curse for the wicked and the righteous reward. Have mercy on the many, don't see it. Separated from the tares, now on my prayers and it's so big. A rebel, take the world by word of mouth. UPK, we the rebels that you heard about. Yeah, and it ain't gonna stop till 100 virgins in the house and I'm handing verdicts out. Get rank, you ain't heard a clout, without a shadow of a doubt. These devils hitting licks off us. Fuck the bank, I'm about to storm the pocket ticket office. Can't sweet talk us, cannot stop us. And plus I know the feds watch us. Telling people that they church full of witch doctors. Put us in prison, they stop violence. Meanwhile, UPK turning rebels into rock wallers. And leave for mighty men, and now I understand things that never truly made sense. Like why I'm crying at this funeral for a criminal, knowing he ain't innocent. It's fucked up. but my boots shine. Standing between two priests, by the blaze on their hands, call it tough love. Look out for niggas just cuz, and wouldn't touch a white bitch with OJ's black gloves. Father, forgive me for my error. I'm forever by your side, clean and purge me of all my flaws. This the reason I'm alive. Thank God for this truth, cause for a long time I was a rebel without a cause. Look, man, first time I make it, man, the Junior Honda, man, hit 3807. Rebel without a cause. My little daughter with me. Opened the door, he was dropping the truth for me and all that. Rebel without a cause. Man, you know, you do your time, we taking the mountains, training the hand-to-hand combat. Rebel without a cause, it's the reason I'm alive. Thank God for this truth, cause for a long time I was a rebel without a cause.
And you cannot whoop us. We're already dead. We're already beaten down. We've been beaten down for 400 years. We already got the wounds inside and outside our bodies. How you gonna hurt us? You cannot threaten us. You cannot frighten us. We live in the most frightening places, under the most frightening conditions. We are immune to fear. We are immune to harm. You see what I'm saying? You have stepped into a cesspool. You're the only one gonna get infected.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No reason at all. They asked for license and registration. That's the police officer over there that did it, with the black on. can't really do shit because they got me handcuffed. I can't believe they just did this. I'm fucking back!
ISUPK presents the ISUPK presents the Lord's 51st annual Passover.
Yo, this is crazy, yo. We in the arena. Okay, I can't explain to you the level that is. This place is gonna be packed with the children of the Lord shouting in one word and one name to them all.
On Thursday, April 9th, 2020 at sundown, we're going to be holding the Lord's 51st annual Passover.
I ain't a people pleaser. I don't like people either. I don't care if you're not the jigger and wanna meet you. Just give me my mother.
We're going to be located at the Westchester County Center, 198 Central Ave, White Plains, New York, 10606. $100 for all adults 17 and over. Kids are for free. Start sending in your funds today. For booking information, check us out on the ISUPK 51st Annual Passover Facebook page. More updates will be available soon. Last but not least, Israel, Commandant General Yohana will be accepting the men willing to stand for the Hebrew Academy 2021. The Lord's 51st Annual Passover.
Shalom, Israel. We are Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, the ISUPK. We started out at 1 West 125th Street, and we are under Commanding General Yohana. That's Harlem, New York. And we're under Commanding General Yohana, and under Commanding General Yohana, we bring forth the truth to our people. That's the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called native Indian, and that truth that we bring to you, that you are the chosen of the Most High. You are the Israelites of the Bible. You are those same Israelites who Moses went down and told Pharaoh, let my people go. And tonight is the history class. Tonight is the history class. I'm going to be bouncing up and down, putting this out. And we always try to keep up with current events, and some you just can't get away from. And tomorrow happens to be one of those events that's going to go on in the state of Michigan, up here in Detroit, regardless of what we want. And you know what that is, right? That's the Michigan primary. That's where the second biggest voting for the year is going to go on for this state. That's tomorrow. And of a sudden can't hear me, put a 2 in the comment section, because I'm gonna step away from this mic because I want you to see what's going on in Michigan tomorrow. What's going on here in Michigan is that, again, the primary, a lot of people say the Democratic primary, but it's the primary period. It's just the primary period. And here's really what's going on tomorrow. First thing, you're gonna be voting. You're gonna be tons of so-called black folk, so-called Hispanic folks, going out here and doing this thing called voting. I'm gonna take my time with this. We're not gonna rush through this because it's not a good look for or against him tomorrow. But this guy here, right? You're gonna have to be dealing with him, Donald Trump. And you're voting, this is what they're telling you, voting to keep him from ruining your life more than what he's already ruined it. So, and you got a choice between this fella, you see that fella right there? And you got between this fella. So basically, you got 3 fellas, this one, and this one. They got so-called black folks, so-called Hispanic folks' attention tomorrow. And they've been bragging about it. This fella here, this Bernie Sanders, this fella here, you know, he's touting how he gets the Hispanic vote. And then this fella here, he's talking about how he gets the black vote. Now, where did we learn that? Where did our people learn this thing about voting and how important voting is and how black folk everywhere should vote? Where did they learn that at? Right here. You know what this is? This right here. You're gonna see. It's a gathering. You see this? Gathering of people. Tell me where they at. Tell me where they at. These politicians. They are in the black church. They're in the black Christian church. This is where these politicians are speaking. And I'm not sure. I'm sure you saw the title of this. I'm sure you saw the title of this class, and we're real serious about that. Israel's politics always anchors the Most High. Israel, we don't have time to play politics. The Most High didn't give us an option to play politics, no matter what your big church hat lady say, or what your homosexual deacon or minister of music say, what your gay preacher say, your child molesting preacher says. None of them don't matter. Don't matter what them Christians say. the Most High gets angry with us, with Israel, when we play politics. Let's look that word up real quick. And we're going to get you some scriptures on that. That's what you're finna go out here and do. You're finna go out here tomorrow. And you're going to do an abominable thing. You're going to do an abominable thing. You're going to vote. Many of you are going to go out there, stand in line, and you're going to vote. You're going to get involved in this game, politics. Let's see if you know what you're getting into. Listen to this. Politics is the set of activities associated with the governance of a country, state, or an area. It involves making decisions that apply to groups of members. It refers to achieving and exercising positions of governance, organized control over a human community, particularly a state. Politics is a multifaceted word. Part of the political process is voting. In politics, folks get you or attempt to get you to vote so that they can have rule over you. You got that? That's what politics is about. Governance of a people. These guys coming here tomorrow are attempting to get the black vote to vote them in as powers over black people. And like we said before, the title of this class is that Israel's politics have always angered the Most High. If you would, turn with me to 1 Samuel. We're going to get right to it. I'm probably not going to bring out any more slides. You know this is a big thing. Bernie Sanders versus Biden, and which one of these cats is going to beat Trump. And they got folks all the way out in Grand Rapids. I'm sure some folks around Detroit. So lucky. Folks around Detroit knocking on doors this evening. They want to make sure everybody get out and vote. Don't do it. Look, this is what we ought to do. This is what you do. Call your friends, call your families, and tell them don't vote. Just don't vote. It's not our business. 1 Samuel. Chapter 8, and we're going to start at verse 4. Now, just to get you the backstory, you know, Israel went down into Egypt as a family of about 70 people, and when we came out of there, we were like the sands of the sea. We marched out of there over 1 million strong. We marched out of there over 1 million strong. And our leader, the Most High, chose a leader for us to come out of there. And that leader name was Mashah or Moses. He had a brother named Aaron. Of Aaron came the Levitical priesthood. These were the men who the Most High appointed to do priestly duties. And he set Moses as a judge over the people and to rule over the people. After Moses, he set Joshua. And you had judges ruling over the people. And Samuel, the prophet, is also a judge at this time. I was going to start at verse 4, but I need you to get the full backstory. Israel is out of Egypt at this time. And they're being judged by a prophet named Samuel. And it came to pass, this is 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 1. And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second, Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after Lachur, and took bribes and perverted judgment. This is one thing, and this is a side cut, really. But it's some things you just can't walk past and just let go past. I can remember back to my big mama. That's my great grandmama. I had two big mamas on my daddy's side. And I remember understanding, coming to learn from them, that the reason all the way up in Michigan we were being brought up as African Methodist Episcopals, which is a church denomination, because that's what my grandfathers were. My great-grandfathers were that. My grandfather was that. My father was that. Though he didn't go to church a whole lot up north, but I ain't tell Granny them about that. You are who your people are. And even coming through the Christian church, parents, aunties, uncles, brothers and sisters often find out that someone in their family just not going to toe the party line. They just can't get them to conform to what the line is. And right here we see that had they done so, it would have been a good thing, but we see that Samuel's sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after Lachur, L-U-C-R-E. If you look that up, that means wealth, money, wherewithal, bling. They're trusted with the guidance of Israel, keeping them lined up with the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. And they perverted judgment. They took bribes. It was all about the money. And I guess you can see why that's still happening so often among Christians. I can't speak on Muslims. I'm sure the powers that be want that money in. And you know the Christian game is all a money game now. It's all a money game. And that's the way Samuel's sons were. Verse 4, then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah. Verse 5, and said unto him, behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. Now this Israel, up until now, the only people that's ruled over Israel is those who the Most High have appointed over Israel. And they ruled as judges. They were not the king. Everybody understood the judge's authority came directly from the Most High. And not only could he exercise that judgment, he could easily prove where it came from, because the Most High would not let him down. The Most High cared for his servant as long as his servant is doing the right thing. Now, watch what happens. Verse 5, and said unto him, behold, thou art old. Samuel got old now. It's funny how when, and that's the way it is. You get some gray hair up in your face, and if you ain't flexing with a lot of loot, you ain't flexing with a lot of money and got no foreign cars, if you don't have a big fancy house, folks attempt to just push you to the side. Told Samuel, behold, you are old. Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy way. His sons did not do the right thing. So, because of this, the people say, make us a king to judge us like all the nations. Now, you see what happened there? They busy looking at Philistines. They busy looking at Hamites. They busy looking at Jebusites. They busy looking at everybody around them and seeing how they living. They're not perfectly living for the Most High, and yet they judge their condition to be worse than their neighbors, even though the Most High has driven many of their neighbors out of the way. They look and prefer to have a rulership system like all the other nations. That's what he said. Now make us a king, verse 5, 1 Samuel 8, verse 5. Make us a king to judge us like all the nations. That means all the other nations had a king. And then the elders of Israel got together and said, give us a king like the other nations. Verse 6. Hold on to that now. Hold on to it. Verse 6. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. You better be careful out there too, Israel that's not in the truth. Israel that's not in the truth. You've talked to us either in your Lyft, in your Uber, on a bus, at a corner store, while we was at camp. You've talked to some priest and prophet here in Detroit. Not just Detroit, this is all over the world. You've talked to us. And we've warned you. We, priests and prophets of the Most High, we warn you. We tell you, leave that Christianity alone. They're going to have you doing some abominable things and even more. We tell you, don't vote. That's what this one's about tonight. Not voting and the historical proof. Some people say biblical. Okay, biblical. But it's historic. Why? Because that's what the Bible is. Our history book and our book, I would call it a book of conscience. So we can know how to do the right thing and when the right thing is appropriate. It's always appropriate to do the right thing. But when to do what? That's what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches us about eternal life. How to have eternal life. Keep the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. Now these men have come to, these leaders have come to Samuel. They've come to Samuel. Give us a king. You old. You're going to die soon. Don't leave us in disarray. Give us a king like the other nations so he can rule over us. Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. He said, listen to them, pay attention. And if you hearken, you also going to act in response to what you hear. He said, listen to the people, give them what they want. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. That I should not reign over them. That's what happened when we asked for a king. The Most High called it a rejection of him, that he may not reign over us. And when we set somebody else up to reign over us, he had a problem with that. And it's not the first time. Right here, and you can tell Samuel knew that the Most High had a problem with this, or we're going to have a problem. And Samuel, being a prophet, studied the writings. He knew the Most High will get at you about messing with the man he put in charge, messing with his prophet. His own brother and sister had some silly things to say about Moses and Moses' authority. That pissed the Most High off so bad that he turned Moses' sister completely white. And she had to get out the camp until Moses prayed for her and her color returned. The Most High does not appreciate politics. He's the power of Yasharallah, and he's the power alone. He's our power. Our power is one. You see that? We ought never, ever play with politics. We don't have the freedom to kick God out from being the ruler of our people. We can't do that. We can abandon him, and how do we do that? By abandoning his laws, statutes, and commandments. And what could entice us to abandon the law, statutes, and commandments? Something that's unlawful but feels good. And these devils, these oppressors, they know how to appeal to you. They know how to appeal to you. They know how to put something in your ear that sounds good. They already know how to do that. That's why all over your TV, they did Get Out the Vote campaign, and they use Aretha Franklin's Freedoms song in that. Freedom. Where it said freedom, oh freedom, that one right there. You see, when it's voting that's going to further enslave you and keep you in captivity. They give you an ad to get out and vote and insinuate that it brings you the freedom, when the whole truth is When you get out here and vote tomorrow, you lengthen your time in captivity. Because what are you doing? You're disobeying the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High after they have been explained to you by a prophet of the Most High. And so, therefore, you are subject to the Most High's wrath. You are subject to the Most High's wrath. We got no business setting a king over us. And whoever you set over you, they're going to get your adulation. They're going to get your worship. Listen to this. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. This is Exodus 20, starting at verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity, that's sin, of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. When you disobey the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, it's your declaration of hate. That's how the Most High understands. He said, you ought not, what's wrong with these people? I lead them. They will reject me for a human king. What is wrong with these knuckleheads here? Ain't these the same folks that walked through the Red Sea when it was parted? Isn't these the same folks that could see a pillar of fire by day, by night, and a giant cloud guiding them by day? Same people who went into the Assyrian captivity and made their way to this new hemisphere. And at no point in time did the Most High intend for us to have a king other than himself. You see that? He had everything planned in our favor from the beginning. The Bible teaches us that the world was made for our sake, for the sake of the Israelite, the true Israelite, not those of those who are the synagogue of Satan. We're not talking about them. We're talking about so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, so-called Native Americans. These are your true Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel. Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. When you hate the Lord, it's going to affect you for generations. Unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. If the father hate the Lord, the son gonna hate the Lord. The mother really hate the Lord, it's a good possibility the daughter gonna hate the Lord. Every now and then you'll get a youngster who loves the Lord so much that they'll call the general and report sin going on in their own home. And you have to say big ups to them young people that can do that. It's that strong. Big ups to them. You know the Most High was with them. But the Most High sees you as a person that hate him. So when you go out and vote tomorrow, while you're standing in there in front of God and everybody, because we are not supposed to vote. And who the hell are we voting for? So you say he made a concession and gave us King Saul. Sure. Let's finish reading that. go back to 1 Samuel. Okay. Verse 7, 1 Samuel. Chapter 8, verse 7. And the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. Verse 8. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. He's pointing out to Samuel that these Israelites, just the way they served other gods, by them picking a king and wanting the king instead of the judge that the Most High gave them, they have abandoned, they have gone, they have adulterated themselves. They have committed adultery in the eyes of the Most High. Spiritual, because here's our spirituality. Obey the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. That's it. That's how spiritual it gets. Oh, we can talk about brothers with zeal and sisters with zeal. But when we talk about them, we're normally talking about a brother and a sister who does what? Obey the law, statute, commandments of the Most High. Right now, this voting thing got us definitely disobeying. And you know what? This voting thing is so often that we do this. And once every 4 years, we do it on the major scale that happens to be this year. We do this voting thing. And the whole time we've had the Bible telling us we ain't got no business voting in their elections. How our oppressors run this country is primarily not our business. How this oppressor runs this country is primarily not our business. You see, because we're not called to take him out. We're not called to fix him. There's no place in the Bible where I see Israelites are supposed to go and fix the people that rule over them and then fall back to their place. I don't see nothing like that. Nothing like that. Now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them. This is what he told him. Look, hearken unto them, but before you let them know you're going to do what they want, make the case that this is something they should not be doing. Don't get a king. You're about to make the Most High real mad. Real mad. Don't get a king. The Most High does not like you playing politics. The Most High does not need you, black man and black woman, Israelite man, Israelite woman. You see that? The Most High don't need you to pick out the leaders for you. Why? Because you're going to pick out the ones that's what? Going to catch everybody's iniquity you want to see caught, and they're not going to look at yours. You see that? They're going to wink at yours. That's not fair. The Most High wants somebody that's going to be typically fair in their judgment. And that's what we're going through now, coming out of this world with all of its crazy notions. Yeah, it's crazy notions. It's just some things that they've made a reality. I don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, it's become a reality that we actually have a nationality of people on the face of this earth who do not have a Bible-described family structure. Their family structure consists of, at the top, one matriarch, which could be a grandmother or great-grandmother, a second matriarch, which is normally one or two sisters who happen to be the baby's mamas, living in the same house. Then they have all them babies up on them, and one of them may have a boyfriend that comes by every now and then, that the mother cuss out, talking about we don't need no more babies around here. That's the scenario of the so-called Israelite family. What's missing from it? There's no father. It's hard to believe when you look at the world, when you look at the makeup of the families around the world, everybody, every nationality on the face of the earth has father, mother, children, watch this, as their nuclear family makeup, in that the majority of their people come from families like this. Two parents, father and the mother, and the kids. That's where they come from. The Most High have a structure for us. And when we step out of those laws, statutes, commandments, what happens? We lose the fathers out of our homes. We lose the husbands out of our homes. In the 70s, that's when they kicked the brothers out, right? Told the sisters, you can get welfare, he just can't have not even a pair of shoes there. He can't even have a pair of shoes there. Get him out of there. Get any evidence that the kids might even remember they got a daddy. Get it out of your house. And in that way they bound the strong man. And now they've given us Christianity. And Christianity is giving us in Michigan tomorrow, black man, Hispanic man, they're giving us the ballot box. Don't do it literally, but we ought to burn the ballot box. We don't vote. The Most High does not want you voting. He hates your politics. He hates your politics. He hates you trying to make up your mind about who you gonna put over you to rule over you, when the Most High himself has chosen to rule over Yasharala. You see that? How are you going to go pick somebody else? That's a sin. And not only that, are you out here voting? Oh. Look who y'all have considered. And y'all felt good about these choices as y'all made them. Y'all put an African, a Hamite, who happened to marry a Judite, a sister, an Israelite. Y'all put him in the White House as if he was an Israelite. And the black church never did recognize him as an Israelite. Never did. Just another Christian, or perhaps Islam, another Muslim here in America. We don't know. We're not that close to the man. But I do want you to know Christianity and Islam is not that much different. It's all white supremacy. It's all about white supremacy. Now, your choice is tomorrow. Everybody want to get rid of Donald Trump. We know. And your choices tomorrow is an old white man by the name of Bernie Sanders and another old white man by the name of Joe Biden. And right now, there's many young black men, young Hispanic men and women as well, engaged in lively and spirited debate over who would be best for black folk in this upcoming election. Surely nobody got any confidence in the Republican Party. So who in the Democratic Party is going to be best for the black agenda? Well, let's see what the Most High has to say about you picking somebody to rule over you. It seems to me every time Israel gets a leader, that leader is chosen by the Most High. And every time a fake leader comes along, the Most High has no problem taking him out. All right, let's see what how the Most High feel about you choosing your own leaders. Deuteronomy 17, verse 1. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto the Lord thy God any bullock or sheep, wherein is blemish, or any elfin favoriteness, Salakia. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto the Lord thy God any bullock or sheep, wherein is blemish, or any evil favoriteness, for that is an abomination unto the Lord. Verse 2. If there be found among you within any of thy gates which the Lord God giveth thee, man or woman that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God, in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or the moon, or any of the host of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it is true. And the thing certain that such abomination is wrought in Israel. Gone and served other gods. He don't want this wickedness to be in Israel. Verse 5. Then shalt thou bring forth that man or that woman which have committed that wicked thing. This is how sin is dealt with. Now just think, if Yahushua was back and all the nations were put back in their borders by now and you wanted to go vote, think about this. Then shalt thou bring forth that man or woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or that woman, and shalt stone them with stones till they are dead. You see that? It's a wicked thing to vote to put somebody over you. But the Most High, He actually is gracious with us. Deuteronomy 17, verse 14. Listen to this. When thou art come unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Now notice the Most High got upset early over in Samuel, and they said, give us a king. He gave him a king so bad that he was going to tax him to death. He was going to tax them to death. You see that? King Saul. This is a king over us. Saul was a Benjamite. He was one of us. Now listen, watch this. Verse 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. First of all, he didn't say nothing about everybody who want to run, put their name in the big hat, and then y'all can come by and campaign, and you can be chief priest, or you can be chief steward, or you can be this or that. Or you can no. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. Every one of your leaders, Israel, the Most High chose personally. This wasn't a happenstance that Moses became a leader. It wasn't happenstance that Joseph was a leader of Israel and rose in prominence the way he did. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't by accident that any leader, that even Saul became leader of Israel. That Saul became a leader of Israel. What I'm trying to show you here is that historically, I'm going to show you. 17:15 say, Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. You know who's not your brother? Anybody that's not an Israelite. You see that? If he's Haitian, he's your brother. If he's Mexican, he's your brother. Now, I ain't met the brothers out there in Washington State, but if he's from Washington State, that's your brother. It has to be an Israelite to rule over Israelites. That's why in the ISUPK, if you notice, we have captains, officers, strict hierarchy. Strict hierarchy. Strict hierarchy. Why? To maintain order. To maintain order. We did not vote Moses in. And when it was time for Moses to die, did we vote Joshua in? No. In fact, as a people, when Joshua and Caleb came back from the promised land the first time with all their stuff, they said, let's go get them now. We listened to the other spies. Oh, they're too big for us. They're like giants. We're like grasshoppers. We listened to them, and what we choose? We chose the easy way. And we took a vote while Moses was in office, and we would not go into the promised land. And so what happened? We had to walk some more until we all died out. Except for Joshua and Caleb. Nobody that set foot out of Egypt made it into the promised land as a place called home, except for Joshua Caleb. Not even Moses. But we see here the Most High say, if he don't even want us to have an earthly king. He's our king. Yahweh Shah has earned that position, our king. He died for us. We should not be answering to anybody except for Yahweh Shah and Father Yahweh. Abba Yahweh. That's who we should answer to. And let me explain something. When they used that, when I heard that song of Aretha Franklin, Freedom, while they're using it for a voting menu commercial, I got kind of peeved with that, kind of peeved. Why? Because they already know that disobedience leads Israel into captivity. You want to know why we're still in captivity? Because as a people we're still sinning. And not even the few of us that has come into the truth is enough. We need more and more soldiers. We need more and more mighty men, more and more sisters, more and more young folk. We need that in Israel, but we got to understand that we are in disobedience and going to be in disobedience as long as we keep going to these polls, having these political rallies. Because the Bible said, whoever we set over us to be king must be one from our own nation. Must be one of my brothers. And what's so sad is that we've learned through TV and other media that we won't do what? We won't trust our own brother. We look at everything as being nigger rigged. If a brother did it, it must not be of great quality. Yet we the greatest basketball players, we're the greatest football players, greatest boxers, MMA, greatest actors. And you tell me we can't be the greatest scientists? Come on. Come on. Like I say, these folks know, we say it every time, these folks know who we are. And they know how to keep us in captivity. For sure. They know who we are, and they know how to keep us in captivity. When Paul said the wages of sin, what he intimates very strongly is that if you sin, there's a cost that you shall receive as a result of that sin. There's a cost. You see, that's when you say the wages of sin. The wages of sin. So you want to vote? Understand there's going to be some consequences. Look at your neighborhoods right now, and you see the consequences of all the political rallies that's been held at black churches in the past. They know that they have no business, that we have no business voting. We have, just like we have no business eating shrimp, crab, pork, or lobster, smoking weed or cigarettes, or sleeping with our brothers' wives. We have no business voting, especially for some Edomites to rule over them. By voting, we agreed that they should rule over us. That's dumb. By voting, we further our demise in this captivity. By voting, by doing what the Most High does not want us to do, we are sinning. We are sinning. When we do what the Most High don't want us to do, we got no business whatsoever. We have no business whatsoever being involved in politics. If you think I'm joking about whether they know us or not, we who did the Most High pick to be our king? He picked Saul. But he was angry with us because we wanted the king even. And when everybody else thought that the prophet was crazy, he then picked David. And it was with the birth of Solomon that it passed down from father to son. That's the first time the kingship passed down from father to son. Because Jonathan didn't get it. Saul's boys tried to keep it, but David ripped that away from him. Salakia, David ripped that away from him. You see. Because David was the Most High's chosen. Now, I keep telling you we're sinning. And some of you may even agree that we got no business voting. But I want to show you that they know. I'm going to show you that they know we have no business upsetting the Most High. Go straight to it. Judith chapter 5, verse 20. This is why they go out of their way to recruit you into so much of their stuff. Judith 5, verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. You see that? Sinning against the Most High is called an error. It's called sin. And it's called our ruin. And it's called our ruin. Sin. That's why we live in burnt out neighborhoods, bombed out neighborhoods look like. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor. Now this is not an Israelite talking. Let's back it up. Let's go up to the top. A little backstory. Judith 5 and 1. Then was it declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Ashur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war and had shut up the passages of the hill country and had fortified all the tops of the hills, high hills, and had laid impediments in the champion countries. Israel had prepared for war against these people. One of the guys out there was Holofernes, the captain, the chief captain of the army of Ashur. So this is general. Salakia. This is a general, high-powered military man. And the word came to him that Israel had prepared for war. And he asked the fella, who the hell are these people? Why are they preparing for war? What their army's like and all of this? And he told them, now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people, talking about Israel, if there be any error in this people and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. We're going to back up a little bit. Might go back a long way. Here we go. Starting at verse 6. He's talking about the Israelites. This people are descendant of the Chaldeans, and they sojourned heretofore, up until now, in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea. Abraham wasn't following the gods, but he listened to the Most High, and he got up out of the land of his parents. You see that from the beginning, as the Most High chose a family, as he began to pick his people, he got us away from them because he commands that we do things a certain way and do certain things. For verse 8, for they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the God of heaven. That's who we worship, the God of heaven. And the God whom they knew, so they cast them out from the face of their gods, and they fled into Mesopotamia and sojourned there many days. Then their God commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, and to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt, and were increased with gold and silver, and with very much cattle. Now, you see, as long as we obey the Most High, he got us. He raised us up as a people. Even when the famine came and covered the land, he allowed us through Joseph to go down into Egypt. Verse 11, therefore the king of Egypt rose up against them and dealt subtly with them, and brought them low with laboring in brick, and made them slaves. You see that? And made them slaves. This is just, and all this heathen is doing is giving our history. He's giving the oral account of our history. Then they cried, verse 12, then they cried unto their God, and he smote all the land of Egypt. Y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember that. He smote Egypt. Killed the firstborn of everything, down to the firstborn cockroach in Egypt. And the Bible records that there went up a wailing, that not one house was left untouched in Egypt when the firstborns were killed. Then they cried unto their God, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues, so the Egyptians cast them out of their sight. They had not sinned, and yet they were under oppression of Egypt. And the Most High took Egypt and wiped them out. He did everything but take them off the map. They're still there, but not at no place near the power they used to have. And that's going to happen again right here in America, to America. So this heathen is letting this heathen general know, look, these people ain't to be played with. The first thing we need to do is go determine whether or not they have sinned against their God. For we know it's obvious that if they sin against their God, they're going to be ruined. Their God will not fight for them. But if they have not sinned against their God and we go fucking with them, we go messing with them, we are going to be the spectacles. It's best to leave them alone if they are not in sin. But here's the catch-22. So many of us going to run out tomorrow and vote that it's going to appear that our whole nation is voting. Don't vote. Don't vote. Don't vote. The Most High said we are supposed to set one of our own kin, our brother, over us. Not even our sisters. So if he picks, if one of them fellas picks Michelle Obama to be his vice president, that's not a reason to vote. There's never a reason to vote. There's never a reason to vote. All you have to do is obey the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. And if you concentrate on that, if you concentrate on being historically obedient, then not only your life will change, but you make it possible for other lives to change. When you do the right thing, when you obey. Right now. True Israelites don't care who wins the election. We don't care. It don't have nothing to do with us. Because we already know, no matter who gets in office, they're gonna treat niggas the same. Ain't nothing changing for niggas. If it didn't change under Obama and Michelle Obama, you can forget it until your Howard Shah come back. But what you cross the line and join your brothers in this truth. And with that, we're going to end the class. Just remember, historically, voting for what other people are doing in their country, being a part of the other people's countries and what they're doing, has not worked out for us. We've envied them, we've chased after their gods, we've chased after their processes, and with doing so, we made the Lord really mad. And he all but destroyed us. Don't vote tomorrow. Yeah, the Bible said, only a brother. And what we got is Deuteronomy 17 and 15. That's who can serve over you. That's who can serve over you. And then we go down to Judith 5 and 20. And we learn that even in that thing called voting, if we wrong in voting, then that's a sin that sets us up, and it's such diabolical sin. Look, it's the preacher and the mother from the church that want you to really, really get out and vote. They was the ones that allowed the politicians in among the sheep. Yeah, come on in here and talk to them at my church, and if I get elected, I'm going to remember you. And so the preachers gave you over to these politicians that don't look nothing like you, didn't come from your stock or nothing. Completely violates the standard of the Bible. That's it. It completely violates the standards of the Bible. Don't vote. Don't vote. We didn't use a lot of scriptures. 1 Samuel 8 and 4, beginning at verse 4. Deuteronomy 17, 15. If you're gonna choose you a king, make it be somebody of your brethren. Samuel, 1 Samuel 8 and 4. That's about Samuel's sons not following after Samuel. Therefore, the people wanted a king over them. Just the fact that we didn't want the Most High is our king. That was terrible. But he gave us Moses. He gave us Joshua, Caleb. But we wanted a king. So he gave us Saul. And then he gave us David. And then he gave us Solomon. And he explained that the only men we could put over us but are our own brothers. Joe Biden don't look nothing like he ain't one of us. Bernie Sanders ain't one of us. And surely Donald Trump ain't one of us. Why are we even thinking about voting? You know who's over Israel right now? And with this I'm gonna leave, and that's Commanding General Yohana. Commanding General Yohana, put there. Answer only to Yahweh, but responsible for all of us. And he does that so well. He does that so well. Don't vote. It's a terrible thing. And you go out there and you set Israel up for the other worst things to happen to us, because you go out here voting, somebody got to pay for that sin. You're going to pay for it. We got no business voting in their elections. None, zero, nada. And with that, let's say Shalom, Israel.
One word and one name to them all.
On Thursday, April 9th, 2020 at sundown, we're going to be holding the Lord's 51st annual Passover.
I ain't a people pleaser. I don't like people either. I don't care if you're not a jigger and wanna meet you. Just give me my mother.
We're going to be located at the Westchester Town Center, 198 Central Ave, White Plains, New York, 10606. $100 for all adults 17 and over. Kids are for free. Start sending in your funds today. For booking information, check us out on the ISUPK 51st Annual Passover Facebook page. More updates will be available. Last but not least, Israel, Commanding General Yohana will be accepting me willing to stand for the Hebrew Academy 2021. The Lord's 51st Annual